Really? Really? Oh my god, dude. This is such bullshit. Okay. Oh my gosh. You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. What's going on, everybody? I was not planning to do. I haven't been drinking, I swear to God. Planning to do a podcast, but I don't know. You know me and conspiracies. I don't know. Look at this. Check this out. So there was a shooting in California at a mosque. That's what I'm going to talk about, right? Um, there's like three kinds of people. There's people who just are oblivious to everything and think the government's not bad. There's no conspiracies and, everything. We live in a cartoon, right? And you have people who, I think, like how I kind of consider myself, that I do see some conspiracies in some things, right? If it's, but then you have people who see, that's all they want to see, the conspiracy. They're looking for the conspiracy, I think I talked about once I had a coworker who I worked with, and he was pretty big in the whole conspiracy thing, and it was the Vegas shooting when that happened, and he was like, "Dude, man, there were people on the ground shooting people, and they were dressed as security and this and that," and I was like, "What, really?" And he showed me the clip, and to me, it looked like a regular security guy who had his gun out, and he ducked, and he fired his weapon as a response to being shot at, so he wasn't, he had his finger on the trigger, right? That's what it looked like to me. So I was like, man, I don't know about that. So, but then sometimes, you just see some stuff going on. And this whole mosque shooting in California just reeks of conspiracy, like full on, I think. Like, and I was just pulling up an article, and as I was pulling it up, I saw a picture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. So I don't know much about but so here's the thing, right? So right now, I would say, I don't want to say Islamophobia, but kind of anti-Islam beliefs or ideas are kind of pretty big right now. You have Ilhan Omar, who's Muslim, and you got all the Somalis who are Muslim, and all the fraud that's coming out because of it. And then you have the dipshit mayor of New York, how he's complete garbage. So so Muslims they're getting a bad rap, but they're bringing it on themselves. And then you have communities that are trying to be full on Muslim in Texas and just various areas, right? And so, there's people who are not Muslim are kind of not liking Muslim. So the powers that be had to create a fake, and I do believe this was, it was real, like people got shot and died and everything, but I think it was created. It was not organic. These teenagers did not harbor hate and decide to go and do this. They were coaxed. They were, the whole thing, the whole spiel. And I'm not saying so much as, MK Ultra or whatever. That probably can mean a lot of different things. Like, it could just be influence, not so much like, drugs and mind control and stuff like that. Like, that's what a lot of people think MK Ultra is when I think of MK Ultra. But it's just kind of weird that, I think there's more Muslim crap like, I would think if something was to go down like this legitimately, organically, it would happen in Texas. But of course, the powers that be setting up this fake hate whatever aren't going to do it in Texas, because a lot of people are armed in Texas. You know what I mean? They want to make sure that something happens, So Yeah, it's not even like, I don't know. I am like 99% sure this is all bullshit. Again, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it was created, you know what I mean? As a response to all the negativity towards Islam currently. So you have these two teenagers. I'm going to read the article. I don't know too much information. I was just doing some stuff and I was listening to my, my YouTubers who, give me news, stuff that's going on. And as he said a couple things, I was just like, what? No way, dude. This is bullshit. So you have these two teenagers. So this is what made me want to do the podcast. They went into the mosque. They killed the security guard or whatever. They killed some people. They got away, and in this, they just happened to drop their document, their writings, their, what is it called? Oh, come on, dude! Every time, right? The manifesto, So they dropped their manifestos. How convenient! And watch, these manifestos are going to be public tomorrow. Which right there, that, so many things of this are just like, dude, this is bullshit. So they dropped the manifesto. Yeah, maybe they did it on purpose so they could show why. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. Generally, it's like back in some, like, compare this to the trans person who shot up the Christian school, right? There was nothing there. They had to go back and find, their where they lived, and that's where they found the manifesto, which they didn't release for how long? You know what I mean? This is going to get released right away. So that right there tells you it's bullshit, okay? But the thing that really caught my attention was these guys got away. They did their destruction. They got back to their car, and then they offed themselves. That's not how it works. They'll try and get away. Only time they off themselves is when they're cornered and they're surrounded by police or whatever, and they're like, okay, this is it. Boom. They got away. They left and met up with their handler, probably thinking they're going to get paid. And then the handler took them out and made it look like suicide. I 100% believe that. Anyway, so let's read this. 3 killed. Oh, it's just 3? Okay, I thought it was worse than that. 3 killed after... See, so, I don't know. 3 killed after 2 teen gunmen opened fire. Is that 3 including them? Is a hate crime emerge? Yeah, right. A fake hate crime. Total of 5. So 3 plus the kids. Total of 5 people, including 2 teenage gunmen who inscribed anti-Muslim hate messages on their weapons, are dead after shooting at a San Diego mosque. Officers responded to the Islamic Center of San Diego for a report of an active shooter around 11:43 Monday. Outside the center, there were adult men dead from gunshot wounds. All of our kids are safe. Our hearts go out to the families. Being notified of what was happening to the loved ones, Wall said. Officers were on the scene just 4 minutes after the initial call came in. While clearing the inside of the mosque, another person called 911 to report gunshots only a few blocks away. A man doing landscaping work claimed he had been shot at by a passing vehicle through bullets missed. And then here's a picture of a gas can that they use, and there's the SS logo on it. Really? Really? No, dude. This is all planted. This is all set up. Only a short distance away from where a landscaper had been shot, officers located a white BMW stopped in the middle of the roadway with 2 suspects dead from what appeared to be self-inflicted gunshots. See, that makes no sense at all. That makes absolutely no sense. Sorry. So, and not much information about, although I did see something about like the kid was a wrestler or something. San Diego Mosque. San Diego Islamic Center speaks out. Yeah, whatever. Ties. San Diego Mosque, where mass shooting left 3 dead, has controversial history. See, they're trying to like, oh, dude, this is so fake, man. I'm sorry. And again, I'm saying fake is I'm not saying it didn't not happen, but it was not out of hate and spite. These kids were coaxed, they were coerced, they were handled, and they were probably promised to be paid handsomely for doing it. See, watch the watch, dude. The manifestos are gonna come out like within hours tomorrow, and it's like, dude, come on. But you know the thing is though, is people are catching on though, man. You know, you used to be able to get away with this shit in the '60s, like when the government killed JFK and MLK and Robert Kennedy. You know what I mean? It was so much easier because then you have all the newspapers and the news in their pocket. The propaganda and the cover up was so much easier. You know. Now, if these kids were still on the run and they ended up getting caught, maybe I would be like, okay, possibly, because you look at like the dude that shot Charlie Kirk, that's how I know that wasn't a conspiracy from the government or whatever. The dude's still alive and being tried. Now, I think like the trans community kind of knew. He talked about it. There was rumblings and, people were like, oh man, because there was like, they were all saying like, oh, he better watch out. Something's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like they knew the details, but they knew something was kind of going on. So it was a conspiracy in that sense. But as far as like, it's not like the Trump where the dipshit kid seen in a Blackwater commercial was able to get to a place through, perfectly timed people on break or didn't, whatever, FBI, you know what I mean? The slanted roof, couldn't be on the slant. It's like, really? See, all that kind of shit, it's like, it was a conspiracy. So, yeah, so, okay, I said everything that I had posted. So, I mean, what do you think? Like, this, I don't know. This just seems like pure bullshit to me. Like, without a doubt, this is bullshit. Sometimes I'm like, well, this doesn't seem right or that doesn't seem right. But this, I mean, because I try to be objective, that's the name, right? So I'm trying to like, well, now could this be, I just don't think so, man. It's just, no, I don't think, not the way this went down. Are there people who hate Muslims and have Islamophobia? I don't know how to fucking say it. Well, yeah, you know what I mean? But the way this happens in California, the way they shot some people, those people needed to be taken out. Listen, I wonder who the victims were, you know what I mean? Hey, we need these people to take out. Oh, you know what we can do? We can have, and they just made it into this big smorgasbord. Let's get, try and get people to stop hating on, because they're trying to cover up all the fraud going on in Minnesota, all the hate towards the fraud, which is going towards this Muslim community. They need to stop that. That's what I think it boils down to. It's not that, the powers that be are like, oh, we need to make sure there's hate in the country. I mean, yeah, they want, the separation. They want us fighting each other and everything, but it's to stop fraud from getting out, Probably the people who were actually shot were involved in some sort of fraud, knew something, they had to be taken out. Now I'm reaching a little bit there, and that's a little, watching spy movies or shows kind of coming out. But I wouldn't be surprised, And so they're just trying to nip it so then like Nick Shirley can't go and pick on Muslims because it's Islamophobia. I can't say it. Islamophobia, I can't say it, but whatever, man. It's all bullshit. It's straight. I don't know the reasons why. I'm thinking it has to do with that. I mean, it's a lot of times it's a lot of different, couple eggs in one basket, couple birds with one stone kind of thing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's crazy. It is definitely crazy. I don't know. But yeah, this does not seem legit, organic, in any way, shape, or form. So like I said, if it happened in Texas, okay, maybe. If, you know, they were caught somewhere, police surrounded, took themselves out. But the fact that they're teenagers is just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Because, no, it just, because teenagers, I'm sorry, I have teenagers, but teenagers are fucking stupid. They're very brainwashable and, easily manipulated, especially if you throw some money in their face. Hey, look at, and maybe they probably don't like Muslims a little bit, like, man, I don't like it. And that's where it started. And they're like, hey, these kids, we looked at some of their chatter, they don't like Muslims. We could probably exploit that, let's focus on that, right? Dude, you go to some kids who are kind of shitty. It's not hard to find someone their personality type with social media and the stuff that, because the government can get into everything, look at their emails and all this stuff, and offer them a shitload of money. Hey, you do this, you're taking out a bad, this and that, blah, 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 you know, but we need you to do this and do that, or, for whatever reason. And then they meet up with their handler in their BMW, they're driving away, he stops, the handler shoots them, makes it look like, suicide, gets out of the car, leaves, that's it. It's not hard, especially when you have, like, media and the government helping, at least to, but yeah, straight up bullshit. Face of evil, whatever. Yeah, he probably watch. This is, I don't know, but for some reason, they're not very good at these conspiracies, and cover-ups are not as good as they used to be. I don't know if it's because of all the access that people have to information and everything. People are just very like question the media and stuff. But yeah, dude, I'm sorry, this is bullshit, dude. Like, this is why I wanted to do the podcast, because I was just like, no way, man. Like I said, a lot of times I'm like, this is kind of weird. This doesn't add up. This and this is kind of strange. Yeah, okay, it could happen, but no, this is the first time in a long time. Well, no, I guess with Trump and when that stuff was coming out with him, I was like, yeah, dude, he was, coerced. When I saw him on the Blackwater or BlackRock commercial, it was like, okay, yeah, we know what happened here. I never once thought Charlie Kirk thing was a conspiracy. I'm not saying I'm like, the smartest person to know. I've always kind of felt I'm pretty good at seeing bullshit and just kind of like, what? This does not make sense. I was scammed at a point in my life that I fell for, and I talked about before. But during the whole thing, I just was like, what? This is weird. Why is this? Why is this? This doesn't make sense. That's weird. And then come to find out, I was being scammed. And so I was like, oh man, like it was in my gut was trying to tell me, yo, you're getting fucked here. But I didn't listen. So yeah, it's just, when you see just weird things, and if anybody listening to this thinks otherwise, let me know. I'm curious to see what you would have to say. I'd prefer an email. I hate the comments. I don't mind like a quick little whatever on the comment section, but I don't check them as often. If you want to get a quicker response from me, send an email to theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. I'm just trying to see if there's something else. Let me see. I was at the California Post, because there's a New York Post, which kind of seems like they're in the middle for the most part. I don't know. I'm still kind of, what the heck? See, I don't get on here too much, so I don't know how to get in. See, the alleged gunman in Monday's shooting rampage that killed 3 people. 17-year-old. See, like, the Columbine shooting, that made sense. You had teenagers in their school pissed at their, you know what I mean? That makes sense. This does not. And, a lot of times I'd be like, well, I'm not saying that it couldn't happen. But, I guess it could. But, yeah, No, I don't believe it one bit. And you know the thing that sucks is it's never gonna be. It's always gonna be in the background. It's gonna be people, the conspiracy theorists. Like when proof of this won't come out till another like 10 years from now, and then people aren't gonna care. Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, but look at this. You know, it's just like people have goldfish brains, man. It's so annoying, and that's what the government wants, man. They want us to be stupid. You know, honestly, think that podcasting saved not just because like Trump was on Rogan or whatever, but just because people are able to speak like how I am now. I mean, I don't have much of an audience, if at all, but still, you know, there could be somebody who happened to catch what I'm saying and then listen to it and be like, oh, you know what? I think you might be right. And then really dives in. I'm not smart enough to be like an investigative journalist or anything like that, like a real one, somebody who's going to actually do their job. I mean, I'm just, I mean, look at my podcast. It's the lazy podcast. I thought about changing it so many times, lazy, whatever, because it is, I tried doing the thumbnail thing. I try, but it's just, I record the audio and the video and I don't edit anything out and I just let it go. Cause I'm authentic, but I don't know. Yeah, no, I do know. This is not legit. This is not an organic event. It was set up. I'm not saying they're MK Ultra brainwashed this and that. I think it was as simple as, they were a little, they were looked at because they probably, didn't like Muslims and they fit the profile, whatever. And it's like, okay, let's offer them a shitload of money. And they probably, thought they were going to get the money. And the handler's like, yeah, we'll take you to Puerto Rico. I don't know, whatever. And nope, here's a bullet instead. Make it look like it's, suicide. I mean, it is that simple. It can be that simple. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like, what was the movie? Oh, The Sniper, I think, where they had the contraption where it pulls the gun and, you know what I mean? These guys just got done shooting, so they're going to have black powder residue and all this different stuff. You get their, somebody has their, boom, boom, no problem. Here's the two guns. They took themselves out. It's not hard. And they're going to accept it, because there's corruption in every level of the state and federal government, I'm not saying it's like, but it's not good. But yeah, this is bullshit. But you know what? I don't think it's going to have the effect. I mean, is it going to stop people from not liking Muslims? No. But I don't think that was the overall goal. I think it was mainly to take some people out that were probably involved in some sort of, scam, fraud. They didn't want to get out. So they're like, how can we take these guys out? Well, they go to a mosque, they're Muslim. Oh, we can turn it into like a hate crime, Islam. Oh, okay, here we go. This is great. This will, don't know if that's what it was, but I'm kind of thinking. I don't know. I don't know what the I mean, is that a possibility? Yeah, but I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but I am like no doubt at all, but that this was set up and these two teenagers were taken out because that's how you know it's a conspiracy right there. When the shooters are taken out. I mean, look at all the, you know what I mean? When it's like a legit psycho, whatever person, they somehow live and they go to jail and whatever. I mean, you look at, John Lennon or Reagan. They never knew who MLK, well, they do, but they say they didn't. Oswald was killed. The dude that tried to shoot Trump, I can't think of his name, killed. So, just look at, it's just, I don't know. Just take a second. I know it's like, people might be thinking like, oh my gosh, but it's like, I don't see a conspiracy in everything. I don't. But when there is that flag or whatever you want to call it comes up, dude, I don't know. I mean, I do know, but um, yeah, I had some other stuff to talk about, but now it kind of took it all, huh? It'll be actually it won't be, and I don't know. I'm wondering. Well, I guess it'll be interesting to see how they. But yeah, who's gonna take the time to put SS logos on their gas can to burn or cause? You know what I mean? Oh, let's just label up all our shit, man. Our sponsors. Let's show the world our sponsors. You know what I mean? It's like what? No, come on. Yeah, no, sorry. Don't believe it. And there's a lot of people who are in my camp. They smell bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time. All right. God bless. All right, bye.
Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.